Welcome to Friday, TGIF. It's the 27th day of February 2026. When tragedy strikes, Wyoming knows to contact Grant Lawson and the law firm for truck safety. Fierce advocate for justice and fighting for safer roads around the USA. Visit truckaccidents.com and see how Grant and his team can make the difference. Well, windy, mild weather for today and Saturday for many areas. We'll have for the Dakotas, extreme northeastern Montana, and parts of the upper Midwest, some colder weather and some winter this weekend. But for the Rockies and many areas of the interior West, very, very quiet, mild, sometimes windy conditions. Windy again today, very high fire danger on the plains. Now, this next Pacific low does start to impact some areas as early as Sunday along a very narrow west to east aligned band. And we'll show you that here in a minute. And that slides eastward into the beginnings of next week. So we'll see some rain, we'll see some snow, and even a little bit of thunder along the path of this system. And while it's not a big storm by any means, it's a moist system, and some of you will benefit, but this won't be a really big, large scale in terms of geography, but it will produce some needed moisture for some of you. March is starting to look more and more encouraging in terms of at least opportunity. That's what we can present, is that we do see some opportunity. Whether or not those opportunities end up with something that's on your driveway, your lawn, or in the rain gauge, we'll have to just kind of take it one day at a time. But there are some encouraging things to pass along. In the meantime, got some good photos to show you from across the region. Lenticular clouds downwind of the Rockies up in parts of Montana. And that moon, boy, that moon is really awesome, both overnight and during the day right now as it's out all across the western United States. Some great moonscapes showing there. And then are the clouds following the arrows? Well, kind of looks like it, but you can see some of that moisture from the Pacific hugging the higher terrain of the Colorado Rockies along Interstate 70. Nice shot of the rays coming through the clouds there in northwest Colorado. Wanted to share this, Lori shared this to show, and we all know this, right? We all know how bad the winter has been if you've been a skier or a snowmobiler or trying to watch the snow or play in the snow, comparing up in the Bozeman area how poor the ski conditions have been. And this compares to, this is a good graph to kind of represent the length of this cross-country ski season up there, the depth of the base, and compare it going back to 21 and 22. And so you can obviously see there's only been one day where the base of cross-country skiing up in that area has had a greater than a 5-inch base. I mean, remarkably bad, as we can see there. And another way to represent that is the peak snow depth by season to date. That's right, the depth of snow reached its peak on December 23rd. Just crazy. Now, you have your normal kind of interannual variability here, the ups and downs that we show you all the time, but boy, whoa, talk about down. Now, hopefully, as we get into the next couple of months here, the skiers looking for a late season surge, I think there's some reason to be optimistic that the ski season is not done, at least cross-country skis and downhill season as well, may see the best snow conditions here at the end of the season. But just remarkable how bad it's been, not only in Colorado and Wyoming, but Montana, many areas of Montana as well, and all throughout the Intermountain West. And there you go, is a good representation of what it's been like trying to cross-country ski in many areas. Satellite photos this morning, not showing much. We have this alignment of clouds along the boundary of the colder Canadian air that's up there, and there's a lot of cold air up there. It's just going to be directed this way through the course of the weekend. So you can see over a large part of the United States, we can draw a happy face of fair weather if you're a fair weather person. When we take a look at the Pacific, though, this is gorgeous. Look at these two lows stacked up in the Pacific. Here's low number 1, which is going to hang off the West Coast for another day or two. Here's that other low we showed you yesterday. But when you see them on the satellite imagery, you can see how well formed they are. They're large. And a lot of the winter, as we showed you yesterday, these type of systems were prevented to come into the western United States. But that appears to be, that block is just not going to be there. So as we start the forecast, there's the cold air along the northern tier. There's our stuck low off the west coast. So here are the two lows I showed you on the satellite imagery. So we're going to go through today and we're going to go through Saturday with basically this pattern. Very mild right here, colder up into the northern tier. By Monday noon, by around noontime Monday, that system gets a kick from the Aleutians low, so here it comes. Now, it's going to get stretched out east-west. It's going to weaken a little bit, but it's had time to gather moisture. So we're going to see, during the second half of the weekend, a narrow band of precipitation over Oregon and northern California, stretching into the Interstate 80 corridor of Utah, Nevada, and across Idaho into parts of the southern parts of Wyoming and northern Colorado. So the colder weather stays in those northern areas. This is by Sunday, so you can see where the Pacific influence is for sure, as that flow of air from the Pacific really keeping things mild, then the Canadian cold staying up into areas. They're going to start March well below average across the Great Lakes, parts of the Corn Belt, and the northeastern United States. And there's that narrow band of snow we showed you that will be developing this weekend. And there's that push of moisture coming in during the late Saturday night hours into early Sunday morning. In fact, by Sunday morning, we could see some rain and snow in eastern Idaho, western Wyoming, along the Wasatch here, and even into the mountains of southern Wyoming and northern Colorado, getting into some snow showers during the day Sunday. And there's your snowfall forecast through Sunday with this pattern. So by Wednesday morning, that low gets scooted out and is moving across northwest Colorado. Now it's going to be in a weakened state. It's not a cold system at all. It's not bringing in Canadian air. So we're going to see mostly a wet pattern with this. Snow levels will be pretty high in the mountains. This next system right here kicks this out and moves it on through, as this Aleutian low is going to make the track. Notice there's another one back here, because what we've got is a wave train forming where these waves are going to be coming through. The next one approaching will kick out the one in front of it. So from late Sunday into Monday, Tuesday, into early Wednesday, this first low is going to bring moisture along this path. Nothing to write home about, but hey, we'll take it. This band of precipitation here, while narrow in a north-south extent, if you're right under it, you're going to do well. And also, it does look like rain shower activity and some thunderstorm activity for Oklahoma and Kansas, parts of eastern Colorado, maybe parts of Nebraska. You're going to have some rain and thunderstorm chances with this first wave. Again, this first wave is not one that's going to end up being big, but it's going to be something that's going to make it participate with the precipitation in some locations. The next low is colder. As evidenced here, the water temperatures up here are much colder than the water temperatures here. So this system is going to drag in some colder air with it, the secondary system, during the second half of next week. That's what the snowfall looks like. So you can see the snowfall stays in the highest elevations Sunday through Wednesday morning. Then the next system by Friday, that Aleutians low comes in. So the low that comes through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday minors out up here. The Aleutians low, which is stronger and colder, tries to settle in towards the Great Basin and near the Four Corners area, which, as we told you yesterday, is exactly what we want to see and something we haven't seen all winter. But I don't want to get too far ahead of the skis here, because what is likely going to happen is that sorting out whether or not this low comes into here, as the AI European model is suggesting, this low could end up going all the way down into Mexico, or it may get kicked out very quickly by the next one coming in. So what you don't know this far out, because we're talking about something that's a week away, is that this low is going to come in. It's a cold, moist Pacific storm, and it's coming into the right areas. But it may not be a Four Corners low. It may go through as an open wave. But I will tell you this, with the colder air associated with this one and this one of these will probably become a Four Corners low. It's a question, is it going to be this one, or do we wait for this one? That's why this is encouraging. Also, and I'll show you a little bit more here in a moment, The placement of the high pressure axis here is in the right place at the right angle. When we see a high pressure ridge in the southeastern United States, that's exactly what you want to see. I go back to my basketball spacing analogy. The spacing of the systems is really important, especially as we go into the spring months with these larger, slower moving storms. Another way to represent this is to take 5 days worth of what we call the 500 millibar anomalies, where you see the brighter colors are your highs, where you see the bluer colors are your colder areas of low pressure systems. Now this is averaging 5 days together. So basically this is Wednesday through Monday of next week. So what we have is the positioning of the pressure systems, making it that the blue is in the west for a 5-day period, Wednesday through Monday. If we go out to the next 5 days after that, same situation. So that's 10 days of having opportunity. And that's the best way I want to describe this is opportunity. By no means am I guaranteeing rain and snow for everybody, but what I am showing you is the opportunity is presenting itself. And honestly, folks, we haven't seen anything remotely like this for months. So will it come to fruition? We're just going to have to sit back and get through the weekend and wait to see. But this is an encouraging sign. But we all know about potential, and right now it's just potential. Certainly we'll spend more time on this on Monday because we're going to have to sort out whether it's the second or third system that's going to end up being the larger one heading into next week. Have yourself a great weekend. Obviously, you're going to want to tune in for more on Monday, as there will be plenty to talk about.